I always start off a video with the jar of names, so I'll quickly do it just before we get into the news. Right, but this video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Natho LPS. Right, okay, so what is going on today? Well, this is Overlord 3. We'll always find a way. It's the title series I'm going to do for the lead up to this new Overlord game. Because today there was some new news. Basically, there was a trailer released. It was the previously on Overlord trailer. I'm going to do a breakdown today. This video is going to be quite long, so I'm going to try and talk about the focusing on the main bits and not get distracted so that it's not going to be longer than it should be, right? But I think we'll just get onto it, shall we? Yeah, I think we will. Right. Okay, well, we're also going to look at some of the pictures at the end and look at some of the Twitter things at the end of the video as well, so stay tuned for that, but we'll look at the trailer first. Let's do that then. Right, so the trailer is pretty much just a recap of what happened in the past Overlord games with some new dialogue from Niall, who does sound like it is the returning voice actor of Mark Silk, which I'm a big fan of. But it does sound like it's definitely new dialogue, so it's definitely new. So it's recorded. It's been recorded, which means it's been in the studio, which is good. And obviously the minis have returned as well, so that's all good. But yeah, it's pretty much just like a breakdown. It's just recapping what's happened in the past games. The signature humour seems to be back, like he was saying, destruction, domination, something else, and then he said carnage, and he was saying about the armour and everything. So the humour definitely seems to be back to what it was, so that's quite good. Like I said, there's references to both games. And now we start to get into the interesting stuff about halfway through the trailer. He says about Overlord 2, like he says, basically he recaps the events of Overlord 2, and then he says, but something went horribly wrong, and he said that's another story. So obviously something happens to the Overlord from Overlord 2 that we don't know about, because last time we saw him, he was on like the peak of his rule. He just destroyed the Empire, he was living happily ever after with his mistresses and everybody. And now it appears something has happened. Maybe he has died, maybe something else has happened, we don't know. Like we said, it's another story. But this could be a jumping platform for another game. Like, there always seems to be like multiple games when they come out. Like, the first one didn't, but the second one they had Minions and Dark Legend, which were like spin-off games. So I'm guessing this could be a diving board for a new spin-off, where it could be something that explains the end of the Overlord from Overlord 2, maybe. Or maybe they're just not going to explain that. Maybe it's just going to pass over that like nothing else. Or maybe they explain it in this game. But we'll have to find out for that. But it's just something I picked up on and I thought it was interesting. Now we get on to the really interesting stuff. He says that the new Overlord will appear. And he says, well, there's not one Overlord, there's 4 apparently. Although he says, he does say that there's 4 Overlords, doesn't he? He does specifically say that in the video. But yeah, but pretty much as a picture, I'll just bring it up on my computer so I can have a look at this as well. There are 4 Overlords. I've got a little screen picture here, a screen grab, so you can get a little look at them. And I'm pretty sure just like a breakdown of each one. So we'll start with the one on the left-hand side, with the one with the spear. Okay, so clearly he has a spear. He is wearing robes as well, just sort of like decrepit robes, they've decayed. It possibly could be a mage. Possibly, or they obviously are mentioning stuff from the old Overlords, and there was that first picture where it looked like the first Overlord's helmet. It makes me wonder if perhaps he was coming back. I'm not sure if he will be the main antagonist or if he will be the protagonist. So maybe he could be this guy here. I'm thinking no, though. I think he's not. Like, I don't know if they're gonna incorporate any of that sort of stuff in the story, or if they're just gonna pass it over and it's he's dead. He's in a different place. He's not gonna be relevant to anything in this, but maybe he might be the antagonist. I don't think he'll be a protagonist. So I think maybe this guy, all these 4 people are new people, which we'll talk more about later. Yeah, he looks like he could be a mage or obviously the spear guy. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell because it's just a reveal trailer. There's not going to be much information, is there? Right, but we've also got the next one along, which clearly looks like a human. There is obviously the curves of a lady, a human. I mean a female. There's the curves of being a lady, so I'm guessing it's obviously a lady. The helmet is actually quite different. I was looking at the helmets. They do look vastly different from the other Overlord helmets. Like it looks more of like a scream mask. Like it's not sort of, it's joined at the bottom, which wasn't in the first one, and the horns look totally different. First one looks more like a more magically twisted helmet. This one's obviously got more predominant horns that are actually horns. But the mask does look slightly different. But we'll talk more about that later when we get to the last person. But that's pretty much it for that one. There's not much on there. This one is the interesting one. It looks like it could be a dwarf or a halfling. We have had dwarves and halflings in the game, so it's possible it could be. He's got 2 axes, so he's dual wielding, which is obviously something that's true and happening. Again, he's got the horns as well, and the mask is quite hard to see his mask. It's quite different. But it does look like he's got a beard, and obviously he's smaller in structure to the other ones, so it's possible that he is a dwarf or not. I've got a theory about this in a minute. We'll talk about when we've talked about all of them, but it could be a dwarf. And what else have we got? The last one. Now, the last one, here's another theory I've got. This one looks like he is truly kitted out to go to war. Like, look at him. He's got much better armor than every single one of the others. He looks like he's been paid for, as in like he paid for armor instead of like just cobbled it together, as Niall said in in the actual trailer from earlier on. But yeah, my theory about this one is, because he's the tallest one, he looks like the darkest one, he looks pristine. I've got a theory that there aren't 4 Overlords. There is 1 Overlord, and that last guy could be the Overlord, and the other 3 are like his minions or something like that. But then I've got another theory about maybe all of these 4 are the offspring of the second, well, the Overlord from Overlord 2, who I think is the 3rd or 4th Overlord. So maybe they're all related, and like he's the eldest, so he's going to inherit his father's lands. But they might, because we'll talk more about all this later, because does everything mean something else, which I'll talk about. But maybe there'll be some sort of conflict between them, but then they do look like they're working together, so maybe not. I'm not sure, but he does seem like he's the favourite child, if they are children. Obviously, this is all speculation at the moment, but yeah, he looks like he is the main guy, even though he's at the end. But maybe not. Maybe he's just like, maybe he just looks like that. Maybe it's just his fashion sense, and everyone else is just, you know, different. Right, but yeah, so that's one theory I've got, and the rest are like his friends or his family or whatever, or maybe they are all the Overlord, I'm not sure, but I can't see how all of them could be Overlord. That would cause problems with dominating things if they're not obviously at odds, but from what we can tell later, it looks like they're all working together. And what else have we got? Right, so now we can move on to the gameplay pictures. I've got these aren't obviously the best because you can't really see what's going on very well, but you can sort of see some things which I've looked at and got. Right, so the first one, you can see there's 4 menus in each corner of the screen, which could lead to couch co-op, where you can be in the same room and play, or could do it online or whatever, or it could just be displays up to show you that what everyone's health is and stuff. But it looks like it's they're all the same, so it looks like it's not just health, it actually shows each person the thing, so it looks like it could be couch co-op, which is good, because very few games have couch co-op now, which is obviously where you can stay in the same room and do it, which is unusual. But that looks quite good. You can see they do say P1, P2, P3, P4, so obviously player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, so just hence the co-op, because obviously now we know there's 4 characters. This is obviously going to be a 4-player co-op game, which is a bit of a distance from the original ones, but I'll talk more about my impressions at the end of how I feel about this. And it has been confirmed that it's going to be a 4-player game as well. I'll talk more about that later in the Twitter bit. But yeah, looks like it's going to be 4 players. You can see on some of them they say guest on the obviously 2, 3, and 4. The first one has got a name which you can't see on the first image. You can on the third one, so I'll tell you what that will be in a second or so. Yep, and it looks like at the top of the screen, it looks like you can collect points, which is usual in co-op games, like the competitive side. And this bit I looked at as well, which you have to sort of look close at these. The sort of like no, I don't know what they are. The crystal sort of diagonal pointy things that are next to the name. They obviously have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they do slightly have a little bit of a colour twinge to them. There's a brown one, or it looks like yellow, but it's brown I think. A red, a green, and a blue, which obviously is the minions. So the minions will hopefully be part of this. At the moment they don't seem to have any minions because they all say 0. So I'm guessing that will be where your minions will show you how many minions you've got. So it looks like the minions, that feature will come back, which is good. Because if they don't have that, it's not really an Overlord game, because that is the main point of the Overlord games. But yeah, it looks like they're back. Symbols, I'm not really sure about the symbols. Each one has a different one. I can't see the one at the top because it's got a lightning striking away, but there's like a squarey one. There's like a flowery one, there's a star one, I'm not sure what the other one is, I'll have a quick look ahead. It looks like an A, which we will see in the later videos. So I'm not sure, maybe that's just like the symbols of each character, maybe that's sort of like their banner or something like that. Not really important at the time though. And spells as well, if you look towards this one next to the image is like a circle. One, obviously the first one's got an electric bolt, which is obviously lightning. Or the evil presence spell, could be that one as well. And I can't see what the rest of them are, they don't really appear to have any distinct look or features. So maybe they are spells, maybe there's something else, but that would be my assumption, being spells. And you can see down on the actual picture, there's like the symbol around where one of the guys is. It's quite hard to see. It's underneath the archway. It's like the flowery one. That's obviously telling you where your character is, so that's just so you can see where he is. The second one, there's not much on there at all. It's pretty much the same as the last, just further on, where they've walked actually underneath the bridge. I can't tell where we are either. I mean, it looks a little bit like the Wasteland. But there's that weird white yellow barrier at the top, which maybe looks magical, I'm not sure, but it's hard to tell at the moment. It's a reveal trailer. And like I said, these were like a couple of seconds in the video, so it doesn't really make much sense. And this is where we start to see some more stuff with the third picture I took. You can see that the first character is called, I think, it's quite hard to tell, but I think it's Timola. Maybe that's the person that's playing. It's like if you're going over your gamer tag, that could be your gamer tag if you're playing online. But that's it. And the last picture, which is like the end slate, it says join the Fellowship, and obviously Fellowship, you're joining together, so it looks like it's definitely going to be a co-op game, but it has been confirmed as a co-op game. And it says about tomorrow there's going to be something on YouTube.com. So this is where I'm sort of speculating what it's going to be. When I saw it, I immediately thought it was going to be a live stream, and I looked at it back and I was like, is it going to be a live stream? Because obviously YouTube, there's a live stream feature on this, so I'm thinking maybe that. Or maybe not, maybe it's going to be like when there's a trailer drop. Because obviously YouTube, you can have a trailer on there. I think it's something it's going to be an interview or anything like that, or details. It's going to be something to do with a video form, because it does say YouTube. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to be a live stream, or maybe an interview, a live streaming of an interview explaining what it's going to be. But that's tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this. But it was tomorrow, on the 23rd, as it says there, actually. Unfortunately, I'm at work, so I can't watch it when it comes out, but I'm going to watch it after if I can, and I'll do a video about it, because I want to try and do this, because Overlord 3 is a big part of my channel. I want to sort of ride the wave, so when it comes out, we can play it straight away, because I can, because I've done Overlord 1 and 2. But yes, what else is there to talk about? Like I said, Mark Silk is back as Gnarl, hopefully. Sounds like it. And the music is back as well. It's the same sort of score as the first one. The second one, sorry. And that's about it. Right, so Twitter. Here is where we can talk about some of the things that happened on Twitter. Obviously, Gnarl was tweeting before this dropped. He was saying that children were attacking him, and he saw a design for how to charge up a tablet phone or a smartphone. This is obviously what I don't like about this. I'm thinking, like some people have said, it's going to be an Apple iPhone, not an Apple iPhone game. What's it called? Like an iPhone or an Android game. Which, looking at the pictures, they do look slightly. Low. Oh no, that's actually quite good quality. Maybe it won't be then. Yeah, it could be. It might not be an iPhone game. I'm hoping it's not. I'm really hoping it's. That's my biggest fear at the moment. Like I've come to terms with the fact there's a full-player game. I'll talk more about that at the end, but I've come to terms with that. But the bit that's getting me is maybe it's a tablet game, because I think that is a big middle finger if it is, because yeah, especially if they're announcing this before like a main game. Like if there is a main game and this, I'll be fine. But the fact that they're announcing this, before makes me think if it is a tablet game, it's going to be really horrible, and I don't really like that. Obviously, it might be a good game, but I don't have anything to play it on, so hopefully it's not. And he released a panda picture, which I think is quite interesting, which could mean that pandas might return in the game. That's not really important, though, is it? It's just a little feature that I saw. And what else is there to talk about? There is a tweet from Triumph Studios who said, new Overlord... Overlord 4? Where's 3? New Overlord 4-player game teaser. Good luck, CodeMasters, and obviously Rihanna Pratchett is. Yes, the reason they're saying this is because Triumph Studios is not involved in this game. It is just from what I could tell by the copyright part of that end dialogue of the end slate, it's just CodeMasters that are making this. But Rihanna Pratchett is the writer from Overlord 1 and Overlord 2, so she's coming back, so that's good. At least we've got the same writer. That's probably why the humour is still the same. But obviously, it's just CodeMasters this time that's doing it, not Triumph Studios. But they obviously do officially announce it is a 4-player game, which is obvious anyway. But it's just been confirmed, so it's definitely going to be a 4-player game. And what else is to talk about? The writer is back. I think that's it about that, isn't it? Yes, I think that is. Yeah. So I'll do my impressions on the trailer first, just so you can sort of get it off my chest. I was a bit thrown at the first that it's going to be a 4-player game. Like I was excited. It's like, yes, Overlord. It's definitely going to be Overlord. And I was a bit thrown that it was a 4-player co-op game and a thing, and I was a bit disappointed. But then I sort of come to terms with it, and it's not actually a bad thing. It's a good thing, because you think about Ratchet & Clank, they did it with All for One, where they changed it drastically to a 4-player co-op game, similar to this one, to be honest, by the look of it. And that was a good game. It wasn't obviously like the rest, but it was a good game, and I think Overlord is a good step for them to take, because it sort of changes up the gameplay. It's still the same with the minions, hopefully, but it changes it up just that slight little bit, so hopefully bringing more people or do whatever it wants to do with trying new things out. And it's still going to be the same game. The story looks exactly the same, and that's my favourite part of it, the story and the dialogue and the banter and everything. And that seems to be all the same, so hopefully it's going to be very good, and I'm excited for it. And if it is co-op, it means if I do the videos about it, which I will be doing, because I like to do the videos about it, I'll be able to play with people, which will be amazing. That's actually a nice feature to have. But yeah, obviously, I think the only thing about this that does throw me a little bit is the change in the camera's perspective. Like, I think everything else will be the same. It's just the camera perspective that's changed. But I usually find myself walking around with that similar view anyway. Like with where you switch it up with the L3 or whatever button is, R3, sorry. So yeah, hopefully it'll be the same. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but now I think it's growing on me. It's growing on me, and it's still Overlord 3. And it does sound like it's going to be canon. So it's going to be take place exactly after the events of Overlord 2. So it's going to be the next installment. So that's what makes me think it's going to be a console game. But like I said about the Twitter things, makes me think it's going to be an iPhone game or an Apple phone game. Apple phone game? I mean Android. I don't know what they're called. Smartphones. It's going to be a smartphone game, which I don't think. Hopefully, it's not going to be that. And I'm not sure. Still on the fence on that one. Hopefully, it's not, but it might be. But yeah, that's what. Loads of different things. It's too soon to say. Hopefully, we'll find out more tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Hopefully, you are too. And yeah, leave discussions in the comments below, shall I say? Right, okay, and let's talk about the last video I did. So the last one I did, we talked about the last picture we saw, which was the helmet of the last Overlord. People were saying basically it looks like the Jurium helmet from Overlord, the first Overlord. where the one that got locked in the abyss in Raising Hell, and someone said that it does look like he's in the abyss because the mountains look the same and the sky looks the same. So yeah, perhaps it is the first Overlord. And then if you think about how this plays into what we saw in the reveal trailer, how was it incorporated? I think the best logical guess is he's going to escape and he's going to come back, and he's going to be the main antagonist. He's not going to be the protagonist, which is the main character that you play. He's going to be the antagonist. I think that's probably what's going to happen, and something's going to happen. Maybe it's going to be too much evil in the world now, because then that'll have be a good force to come into it. I'm not sure what the story is. It's too soon to say, but yeah, maybe he will come back, maybe he won't. I'm not sure, but if he doesn't, I don't understand why they put a picture of the first Overlord first and not something else like, I don't know, Gnarl, a picture of Gnarl in high definition detail. Right, okay. And like I said, I'll do another one of these videos tomorrow because it does look like there's going to be something happening, and hopefully there'll be some more detailed information, like if it's going to be on consoles, if it's going to be a tablet. I hope it's not a tablet, or what's going to happen. And like I said, I'm at work that day as well, so it'll probably be later in the day. But yeah, I will be doing it because I'm really excited about this, and to be honest, I don't mind it's a 4-player game. I'm actually excited to play it. Why not? I'll be honest. Yeah, but I think that's about it that I wanted to cover. Like, it's a 4-player game, all the different people in it. Yeah, still too soon to say about most things, but hopefully we'll find out more tomorrow. That's pretty much it. Alright then. So, if you want to watch the trailer, you can click on the moving picture on the screen now. That'll take you to the trailer, the reveal trailer on Overlord's YouTube page. Or if you want to catch up with what happened in Overlord 1, you can click for my Let's Play. It'll plug there. Or you can click on the other one, Overlord 2. I did that one as well if you want to catch up on what happened. Hint, hint. Yes, and of course you can subscribe. Hey, I'm going to get all the plugs out today. Don't usually do that. You can subscribe as well, because I will be doing Overlord Dark Legend as well soon. And I will hopefully do Overlord 3 if it is Overlord 3. It might actually not be Overlord 3. I didn't mention this. It might not actually be Overlord 3. This could be Overlord 2.5. It could be a spin-off. It might not even have the 3 title in it. But judging from the canon story, it might be Overlord 3. Anyway, I just wanted to point that last clip out. Right, okay. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Hopefully, Overlord 3. Exciting news tomorrow. Let's hope it's good.